and welcome to another exciting edition of Hidden in the Universal Vault. I'm Ron, your host, and let's close up September as we get into the spooky season next month. So I thought we'd take a look at a movie that is kind of horror, but based on a franchise that I personally love. This franchise, but we'll get to the other ones later. But the one I picked out of this franchise is a little unknown film. It was released in 1987, and this movie stars Lauren Gray, Lance Guest, Marty Van Peebles, Karen Young, Michael Caine, along with the adorable late Judith Barcy. Jaws: The Revenge. Yes, this was actually directed by Joseph Sargent in 1987. Now, Jaws: The Revenge is the fourth and final movie in the Jaws franchise. I'll kind of give my quick thoughts on the rest of them, and I will get to review those ones, so I'm going to kind of review them out of order, but I chose this one. So, we all know Jaws is a classic, and that came out in 1975, I do believe, I think it's 75. The sequel, Jaws 2, came out in 1978. Jaws 3, or Jaws 3D, came out in 1983. So this is a final installment released in 1987. So what do I think of this installment compared to the other ones? Average. Let's actually talk about Jaws: Revenge. So what I mean by average, I mean it's just average. So the movie centers around, and the only cast member returning this is Lauren Gray. So she plays Ellen Brody. She is basically the widower of the main character from Roy Scheider's character. I can't think of his name right now. Let me grab the original Jaws somewhere. Over here. What was his name in the movie? Doesn't say anything about it. But anyways, she's a widower of... Hang on, guys. Let me do apologize. Okay. So she's the widower of the main character, Roy Scheider's widower son. So her son is Lance Guest. He plays Michael Brody. So Michael Brody is following his father's footsteps, and he's an oceanographer as well. So it starts with them. The beginning of the film shows the brother going out. It's in the middle of winter. I forget what state it is. So it's the middle of winter. He's driving out to check the sea. So now he encounters a shark there, and he encounters, well, Jaws, apparently. So this is not spoiling anything. He gets mauled and eaten by a shark. So he loses his arm, and then he gets killed by the shark. Then Ellen Brody is afraid of sharks, just like the first three. Well, the first two, I should say. She's afraid, and she's witnessing these sharks, and she kind of has a premonition. So we're introduced to the Brody's granddaughter, Theo, played by Judith Barcy. I already talked about what happened to Judith Barcy off set in my Land for Time review. So if you want to know more information about what happened, I suggest go and watch that video, and I explain a little more. But I'm not going to explain it here. But long story short, she was murdered by a family member. But I'm just going to leave it there. So, basically, Theo is Michael's daughter. So, he's married to his wife, played by, I think, Karen Young. So, they're happy. They go and meet her. She goes and meets her grandmother and out there. And then all of a sudden, then they're introduced to Michael Caine, who is sort of like going to tell them, why don't you come out to the Bahamas and come with me to the Bahamas? And Ellen is afraid to go out in that ocean and see, again, the shark, just like the first two. Not including Jaws 3, but we'll get to that soon. So that's really that gist. We also get Marty Van Peebles, who he's playing a Jamaican. The guy's not Jamaican, but he's playing sort of a Jamaican. So that's his character. And he's also another shark oceanographer. So there's also another scene I did like. There's some really cute scenes with Theo. Thea, not Theo, Thea. I'm sorry, it's Thea Brody. So there's some cute scenes with her. There's some really nice scenes in it with her, and just so tragic of what happened to that child actress. It just, you watch this and you watch Lane of Time, you realize, man, that child could have been a really good actress. Had her, yeah, I'm not going to get into that whole story. I'm here to talk about the movie. But yeah, there's this one scene where, well, basically Ellen has a premonition. She's swimming out there and all of a sudden she gets mauled by a shark. Turns out it was just a nightmare. So there's a nice scene where Michael Caine is like a pilot, so he's out there on the boat and he sees Ellen Brody with the granddaughter while the granddaughter's out there making sandcastles. And yeah, while her father's out there trying to find out clues about the shark. So that's all I'm really going to talk about the movie. I don't, honestly, if you've seen these movies, you know what's going to happen. I don't need to explain about this movie compared to the other ones. Shark comes, attacks people, shark comes, attacks people, go after the shark, wash, rinse, repeat. That's it with these movies. There's nothing new than what I've seen with the other ones. But this movie, to be honest, if we can ignore that, this movie is just a popcorn film. You just leave your brain at the other door and just, if you can ignore all the other ones, this movie is fun. It's good. It's good, cheesy fun, is what I have to explain. But the first movie was a character study. I feel like the rest of them just get from from great to good to cheesy to extremely cheesy. But yeah, it's just some really nice scenes in the movie. But again, let's talk about the shark. The shark isn't scary. The shark is actually kind of boring. And I'm really going to be honest and tell you right now, it's the shark is just boring. But if you see the other ones, and I'm trying to think of anything else. I think the moments I do like in the movie is with the granddaughter. I think just watching her on screen is just, again, she's just so adorable. Like, yeah, that. So, again, like I said, so they're just trying to find out and what the shark, and it's more of the same. I don't really have much to say about a movie that's just average. And yeah, that's really about this movie. And just, again, there are some really great cinematography. They must have shot this in the Bahamas because it looks extremely gorgeous. And there's just really good moments in it though. And the good can get away from the bad. Like I said, if you leave your brain and suspended disbelief, this movie is good for what it is. Honestly, in my opinion, this should have never been made. This movie, honestly, they should have just stopped with the first and that. So, but unfortunately, they decided, you know what? I think they were trying to make this a different movie. They decided just to slap. The movie could have just easily been called The Revenge, but they just slapped the Jaws name and called it a day. But yeah, it's just and the underwater scenes are great. I'm a sucker for like underwater scenes. I'm also a sucker for vintage swimwear. I love the fact that just looking at all that. There's another scene where the mom, they get off the plane. This is kind of mostly in the beginning of the movie. So the mom comes down. Her mom comes down. And she's swinging on a rope with a bunch of kids that are like swinging on the rope, and she's like saying, "Daddy lets me swing on the rope. No, Daddy lets me swing on the rope." And just like, wow. Yeah, it's just some good moments. I did like that scene where the grandmother is building the sandcastle with Thea. And you could tell that being a grandmother, her being a grandmother about the grandchild. Also, there's another scene where Thea decides she wants to go on the banana boat, but realizing that she's riding, and all of a sudden comes very close to getting hit by Jaws. But Jaws gets the other guy, gets this other woman, and she gets bit by the shark, and basically she becomes shark food, essentially. There's also, I'm not going to give it away though, but the climax just isn't that great. There's a climax where Michael and Van Peebles' character, they're trying to find clues of how to kill the shark, and literally it's kind of boring the way they kill the shark. Although the shark does roar, so I don't know. It's just I don't know, but it's fine. I forgot to mention that this is actually my third time watching. I remember watching this movie in college. A friend of mine had my late friend, buddy of mine years ago. He had on recorded VHS. He must record off the USA Network in the 90s. So he had on recorded VHS like, oh, can I borrow Jaws' Revenge? So I watched it, and the first time I watched it, it was just boring. Second time I watched it, I got the DVD. I think I got it years ago at a dump bin. Years ago. And I got it like at a Walmart dump bin a couple years back. I didn't get it the year it came out. 2003. I got it around 2010. I think I got it in 2010. So I watched it in 2010, and I just thought it was boring. The first time I watched it, I thought it was just awful. Second time I watched it, I thought it was boring. This is my third time watching, and honestly, I don't really think this is bad. I just think it's just average. There are, like I said, there are some night scenes with the grandmother and the granddaughter and the cinematography. Those really are the three positives. I say out of all the people, I would say that the negative in this is Michael Caine. Michael Caine seems like he doesn't want to be there. He phones in the whole way through the performance, and he was just so bored. I think the fact he didn't come, the year he got nominated for Woody Allen's Hannah and His Sisters, he didn't come down to the Oscars because he was working on this movie, and he felt like he didn't want to even be in the movie. And honestly, you could have took Michael Caine out, and the movie's probably still been at least okay. Like I said, it's fine. So Michael Caine's about the downside. The positives I mentioned again are with the granddaughter, Ellen Brody, and the cinematography. Like I said, this movie is extremely gorgeous. The Bahamas, the underwater scenes where Michael and Van Peebles' character, I can't think of his name, they're scuba diving underwater to find clues of what the shark is. That's great. I'm a sucker for like underwater scenes. And really, like I said, you could just call it a day. It should have just been called The Revenge and it would have been fine. But having the Jaws name be about the shark right here. Oh, by the way, this is some cool artwork. I love these like old DVDs, and I haven't done this in a while, but I always love these like clear DVDs. They kind of remind me of Disney titles, but I love these clear DVDs. But yeah, like I said, you can suspend your disbelief. There's a trailer on there, but it's not much. Just a teaser, I think. It just feels like a teaser. I love the tagline, "This time, it's personal." Yeah, personal is what it is. But that's really all I have to say about Jaws' Revenge. I actually don't think this is awful. This is not awful. This is not a bad movie. But I feel like they just could have just stopped making these movies. I feel like this is the last one, and this is the final one for good. But like I said, you can suspend your disbeliefs, then I would say this movie isn't that bad. But I'm just going to say it like that. I feel like, will I watch this again? Maybe. But for now, that's just all I really have to say about this movie. So, I've been rambling. I think the movie works for what it is, and it's not bad. So, let's just rate the movie now before the video becomes super long. So, I'm going to give Jaws' Revenge a 3 out of 5. Then, like I said, guys, this isn't a bad movie. It's just average. But as a movie that centers around Jaws, like I said, it's just probably going to be a 3 out of 5. So you might like it, but honestly, it's a pick your poison type movie. Would you rather watch this? Would you go back to the original? Would you watch the third one? Or would you watch the second one? Any of the Jaws movies are fine. For what they are, they're fine. This one's fine. Again, average. But yeah, I guess check it out. If you like this franchise and you want to see how it ends, I guess check it out. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Jaws the Revenge. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do like the content of the channel, you can go ahead and check me out. I'm on Letterboxd, so you guys can find out what movies I rate. Like I said, I'm on Letterboxd. If you like the content, like, comment, subscribe, click the bell, ring the bell to find out what all my notifications are, and yeah, and to let you know what video comes out. So yeah, and okay, and yeah, as always, keep watching those Universal movies, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.